Good day. On behalf of the Philippine Society for Quality, Inc., headed by our Society's President, Dr. Ray Frimista, I am Angelica C. Frahinal, PSQ's Vice President for Admin, and your host for this 1-hour webinar session. But before anything else, let us first place ourselves in the presence of the Lord and offer this activity to give glory to the Almighty. O Lord, we offer you our struggles, joys, works, including this webinar. Please continue to keep us safe and healthy. Protect and bless everyone. Give us the grace and the courage to always walk in your ways. To you be the glory and praise, now and forever. Amen. Welcome to our webinar on health and wellness. Longer quality life, better productivity in the workplace. And you know what, guys? We are live stream at Facebook and YouTube channel of the Philippine Society for Quality. Also, just a friendly reminder, we will be giving certificate of attendance upon receipt of your completed evaluation questionnaire. So please do visit always the chat box. And for today, there is a need for all of us to be reminded about our health and wellness, particularly in this kind of environment we have now. And for this 1-hour session, we actually have two speakers, two guests for this afternoon. And they will remind us and give us tips to live younger, healthier, and not only that, younger, longer, healthier, and wealthier. And please feel free to write your questions and comments, and we'll try our best to answer your questions within the given time frame. And also, kindly share your shout outs, okay? So since we only have 1 hour, let me now introduce our two speakers. Our first speaker is the president of the Royal Institution Singapore and a consultant to a group of companies, not only in Singapore, but Malaysia and here in the Philippines. After graduating with a diploma in film, sound, and video from Nanyang Polytechnic in Singapore, she obtained a Bachelor of Laws from the University of London. She completed her Master and Doctor in Business Administration here in the Philippines from our very own school, Polytechnic University of the Philippines. She is a lifelong learner, and she recently completed an Executive Diploma in Directorship from the Singapore Institute of Directors. She has a wealth of experience across multiple industries and disciplines in the different areas of discipline, from line producer and casting manager to film executive and then financial consultant. She also leads a team of global business franchise owners. And you know, guys, her mission is no other than to empower families to live younger, healthier, and wealthier. So guys, let's all welcome, okay? So she will, of course, I'm also excited to listen to her talk. So let's all welcome Dr. Athena Georgine Ang Kabakang. And we can call her Dr. Georgine. Okay. Allow me now to introduce our second speaker. Our second speaker is Mr. Jason Che. He's a former aircraft engineer, a former banker, so all from different areas, no, and former businessman. He finally realized his true passion in health and obtained a Master of Science degree in exercise and nutrition science to help spread the knowledge in layman terms for everyone. And he is based in Canada and Hong Kong. So our second speaker, we have Mr. Jason Che. And ladies and gentlemen, let us all welcome, okay, Dr. Georgine and Mr. Jason.
Good afternoon. Mabuhay Philippine Society for Quality. I first want to thank my classmate, Dr. Ray Framista, your president, and of course our lovely host today, Dr. Angie. Thank you for your invitation today. Um, I really look forward to answering all the questions, and I hope that we can get all your questions answered later. And before that, I would like you to hear from my mentor himself, Jason Tzu, who has a Master of Science in Sports Nutrition from Canada. And he is able to explain in simple layman terms all about nutrition. And that's the cornerstone, we think, of how to live a healthy life, which is in line with today's theme. So um, let me share with you Jason's video first, a sharing that he did for Royal Institution just last month. And then after that, we'll take your questions. Um, and here we go.
Long and not being healthy is actually not what we really want, right? So when we talk about living healthy, we talk about living longer and healthier, right? Now, who doesn't want to live longer, healthier? We all do, right? And why? How can we do this? The latest science called epigenetics is talking about how we can control our destiny sometimes to lengthen the healthy span of our life. All of us were born one day, and all of us will die one day. But that last period of our lives, sort of illness before we die, how long is that? We would like to make that as short as possible, right? So that the healthy part is as long as possible. And to do that, in health, there's actually three major areas that we need to look at. One of them is rest. The second one is nutrition. And the third one is exercise. I just sort of named them in that order. No particular order. Name them in that order. Now, rest encompasses a very deep study in itself. Rest is not just sleep. Rest is physical rest. It's emotional rest. Spiritual rest. Okay?
Dr. Jean, you may want to share your video.
Oh, sorry. I thought it was playing. Um, oh no. Okay. I think I have to uh, oh no. Give me a, sorry. Okay. Sorry, this is my first time using StreamYard, and I thought it was sharing already. Please let me know whether you can see my screen now.
None yet. Yeah, it's there. Okay.
Okay. All right. So
name them in that order. Now, rest encompasses a very deep study in itself. Rest is not just sleep. Rest is physical rest. It's emotional rest. It's spiritual rest. Okay, it's rest is just being at peace. Your mind being at peace. Your body being at peace. So we all need rest in more ways than just sleeping. So that's a whole area of importance in our health, and we all need to rest better. Okay, and whether you do meditation or there are many ways to get rest. All right, and I encourage you to look more into that area. Now, all three areas have to be in balance. If they're not in balance, right? If any one of these are not in balance, somewhere down the road, we will suffer for it. Okay, so please look into the rest part. Very important. Exercise, again, very important. Those of you who don't exercise know, what your body is like, right? So we all know that exercise is important to keep our bodies in shape, yeah? And the third is nutrition, which is the topic I want to focus a little bit more on tonight. But I just want to say, do not forget about rest and exercise, okay? It's very important. All three areas very important. Now, when you don't have enough rest, does your body tell you? Yes, it does. Would you have too much rest? Has any of you ever had too much rest? Did you say, oh, I slept too much? Oh, I had too much rest yesterday? Very rarely. Most of us have too little rest. We didn't rest enough. Now remember what I said. It isn't just physical, sleeping in the bed, physical rest. It's also emotional. It's also physical. It's spiritual. The rest is it's a very large subject. So think about it. Okay, do you get enough rest? So, and when you don't have enough, does your body tell you? Yes, it will. Because as it accumulates, it will tell you. When you have too much, very often we don't get too much of it. Yeah. Same with exercise. Now, when you don't exercise too much, does your body tell you? Yes, it does. I mean, I run a marathon every year. I'm a regular exerciser. I run every day. I ride horses. If I stop exercising, I broke my arm 2 years ago, and I could not exercise for 6 months, and my body told me right away. You know, the aches and pains. I couldn't move around as much as agile as I used to, and same with all of you. So when you don't exercise enough, your body will tell you as well. Now, would you exercise too much? I doubt if any of you actually exercise too much. Maybe a few elite athletes will exercise too much, but very rarely. So again, in exercise, we're usually in deficit. Okay, so in rest, we're in deficit. In exercise, we're also in deficit. So please be aware of that. Now, in nutrition, again, most of us are in deficit. When you're in deficit in nutrition, does your body tell you? Again, not right away. Okay? But over time, as it accumulates, your body will tell you. Okay? In terms of diseases accumulated from the lack of nutrients, right? Now, would you be over nutritious? Would you have too much nutrition? Now, this is where I want to sort of give some understanding to all of you today, okay? I know that a lot of you are professionals, but I think sometimes as professionals, we forget that the general public out there don't have the same language or the understanding or maybe even the education that some of us have. So we need to keep it simple for everyone to understand. We need to encompass everyone's understanding. So we don't want to make it technical. We don't want to make it so with so much technical jargon. We want to make it so that everyone can understand. Even someone who hasn't gone to school can understand. Then we can help everyone, right? Because in fact, those of us who have studied and know about it, well, they know about it, right? They probably need it less. But it's that general public that we're trying to help everyone, okay? So today I hope I can bring this language down to a more layman's level so everyone can grasp it without being a master's in nutrition or a PhD in nutrition, right? So anyone can get it and understand and sort of internalize it so that when you go away and after tonight, you would say, hopefully I will leave you with the messages to say that I understand a little bit about what I should do, okay? So here it is. Nutrition is separated into two main areas. We've got macronutrition. Now, I'm going to keep the technical terms very simple, as simple as possible. With the macronutrition and with the micronutrition. The macronutrition is what you see that you can eat, which is the chicken, the eggs, the vegetables, the fruits. Everything that you eat that you can see is macro. That's why it's called macro. You can see it. The micro, you cannot see. What's the micro? These are things you've heard of: vitamins, minerals, right? These things you've heard before, so it's not a new term. I think everyone can grasp this. And there's one other term I'd like to introduce to you all. It's not that complicated. It's called phytonutrients. Phyto as in photosynthesis. Phyto as in plants. Okay, so phytonutrients are nutrients from plants. That's called phytonutrients. Okay, they are micronutrients. They're not vitamins. They're not minerals. They are just nutrients from plants which can really help us. Okay, and in a lot of, especially a lot of Asian cultures, we actually historically rely on a lot of micronutrients from plants, from herbs, right? And so that's very important for us. And these micronutrients you cannot see with your eyes. You cannot see the amount of vitamins that's in an orange. Okay, so we need to look at now the micro part. Why? Because the macro part we got too much of. Very few people now starve because they don't have enough macro, which is the carbohydrates, the proteins, the fats. And the problem now is today's world is the micro is what we're missing. Why? Because of the way we grow our foods, our food sources, the way we raise our animals, okay? And the way we've done it has depleted around the micro away. Now, just give you an example how important the micro is. The United Nations helps a lot of children around the world by sending rice and corn and all these food to third world countries, in Africa. Now, a lot of these children, they're fed and they feel full. They got the macro. Unfortunately, when we send them these foods, all this rice and all this wheat and all this, because the way we grow it, or it's genetically modified, it's lacking the micro. Now, without that micro, this child is full because he's got the macro, but he doesn't have the micro, which the body needs for all the defenses, to defend against disease, to repair itself. And that's why there's still a lot of problems in these countries, because the child is full, but he's still sick because he can't fight disease. And if he can't fight disease, he can't go to school. If he can't go to school, he'll never get out of that treadmill. So we need to think about the complete package of macro and micro. All right, so to help everyone today, I want you to understand how important that micro is. So let me now break it down to something that I hope you can all understand, no matter who you are. If you're a doctor, you might think it's too simple, but it's not for you. You are the doctor. It's for those people who are not doctors who need it, this knowledge, all right? So let me just give you an analogy. The body is like a house. It's like your house, right? And the macro is what goes into that house to run the house. You need electricity. You need water that comes in. These are your two main macros that keep your house running, yeah? Now, that house has all these electricity and water to run, which is the macro, which is the proteins, which is the carbohydrates. But you know what? That house has a lot of workers in there to keep that house maintained and running. Now, if the light bulb's not working, you need an electrician to fix it, right? That electrician is a worker in the house. And I'm going to give him a name. I call him an enzyme. The workers in this house are all called enzymes. So we've got the electrician, which is the electrical enzyme, and he repairs the light bulbs. Yeah. Now, the water faucet, the water's not working. The pipe's not working properly. Water's not coming in. I need a plumber. I need a plumber enzyme to fix the water faucet. Yeah. Oh, the toilet's not flushing. The drains are not working. I need another plumber enzyme to unclog the drain. The air conditioner is not working. Wow, I need an electrician to help fix the air conditioner. The door is jammed. I need a carpenter to fix the door. You see what I'm talking about now? There's a lot of maintenance people that's required to run this house, even though the house has electricity and water, even though the house has the macronutrients. Now, these workers are called enzymes in our body, and these enzymes all need to eat, right? And what do they eat? They eat the micronutrients. Now, think about this. The macronutrients that we eat today, if you break it down, I don't care whether it's chicken or a fruit or a cheesecake, whatever you eat today, when it goes into your system, it's broken down into only three things. Something called carbohydrates, you heard of that. Protein, you heard of that. And fats, you heard of that. So these three ingredients, can you imagine, can make all of these things that we eat, whether it's an egg, whether it's cheesecake, whether it's a steak, whether it's a fruit, a vegetable. It's all made of these three things. Isn't it incredible? Right? This is like, it's a miracle. Now, these three things can make all this food that we eat. Well, the vitamins, the vitamin A, vitamin B, vitamin C, vitamin E, the minerals, all the calcium, the iron, the potassium, all these things makes different kinds of foods that each one of these enzymes like to eat. The carpenter enzyme likes to eat a certain combination. He likes to eat his own special cheesecake made from. So every one of these enzymes need to be fed so that they can do their work. So the carpenter can repair the door in the house. So the electrician can repair the air conditioner or the light bulb, right? So if I can just paint you this picture now, your body is the house. The macronutrient is what you eat, you can see. The micronutrient is what is to feed the workers inside that house, to keep that house working in proper order. I hope I didn't lose you so far. I hope I kept it simple. And that, if you understand that, then you can see that if you're missing the micronutrients, remember we're missing that from the foods? If you're missing that, then the carpenter doesn't work. The windows, the doors, they don't close properly. If you're missing that, then the electrician doesn't work. The aircon doesn't work. If you're missing that, then the plumber doesn't work. The toilet gets clogged. And what does that mean? That means your system is not working properly. Your body gets clogged. Your blood vessels get clogged. You're not detoxing. And when you have a damage, when you have injuries, you're not being repaired properly. Now, if you're short of this, if you're deficient, your body doesn't tell you right away. But over time, that house starts to crumble down. It starts to deteriorate. So it's just like sleep. You don't have enough sleep tonight. If a student has to go and cram for an exam to study, wow, but he cannot cram for exam for 100 days. His mind, his body will just deteriorate, right? So over time, the accumulation of deficiency is detrimental to our health. Now, that's the picture I want to paint for you. There are ways to go around this. Now, how do I know I'm deficient? How do you know you're deficient? Well, we live in a world of science today. And the way to do that is to measure. Now, I can offer you two ideas. One is to go and take blood. When you go to a doctor, what does a doctor normally do? The doctor says, what's the problem? He said, well, I've got these problems. He says, okay, let me take some blood. And the doctor will measure what? Usually the doctor will measure your cholesterol, your triglyceride, your blood sugar. Is that the standard thing they measure? For every one of these they measure, they need to take some blood. And the more they measure, the more blood they need to take. Okay? Now, very seldom does your doctor say, well, let me take some blood to measure your vitamin C. He might take some blood to measure your iron, because a lot of people are iron deficient. But very rarely does a doctor take blood to measure vitamin A, vitamin B12, vitamin K, vitamin E, vitamin D. Doctors don't do that because they measure disease. They don't measure nutrition. So the only true way actually to know that you're deficient is to take enough blood from you to measure every single nutrient, whether you have enough or not. And I can tell you statistically, and they've done this test with 21,000 people, none of them made the grade for all the nutrition required. None of them. 21,000 people, okay? And that's on the average. So are you better than this 21,000 people? I don't know. And do you want to go and do that blood test? Probably not. The reason is because it would take a lot of blood, takes too much blood, and it's very expensive. So then what? After all this talk, what does it mean? Well, I can offer you another alternative. There is a machine now. It's called the biophotonic scanner. Okay, the biophotonic scanner. It's a technology that was invented over 100 years ago. And the technology itself won a Nobel Prize. And this technology has been around for 100 years, but it's the size, this machine's the size of a room. So it was like the old IBM computer. It's huge. But about 20 years ago, some professors at a university said, well, if IBM can shrink that huge computer to a laptop, maybe I can shrink that thing into a small sewing machine size, device, so that it can be used, it can be applied in this world. And so that's what they did. And so now there's a machine, which is it looks like size of a sewing machine. And all you have to do is put your hand in front of it and uses a low frequency laser beam to test the resonance of all the different nutrients in your system, non-invasively, without puncturing your skin. Isn't that fantastic? And you can do that in 2 minutes. It's done in 2 minutes. So non-invasive, you can do it in 2 minutes. Why not get it done? And by the way, how much does it cost? Well, I don't know what it would cost in Singapore, the Philippines. Georgine, you can tell them later. But here in Canada, it costs $5, 5 Canadian dollars. Cheap, right? To find out what score do you have? How much antioxidants do you have in your body? Where are you on this scale? Now, once you have a number, then we get scientific, because it's where you are now, and are you low? Are you okay? And where are you tomorrow? A year from now? Did you improve or did you decrease? And that's a health number that you want. It's not a disease number, it's a health number. It tells you how much antioxidants there is in your body and reflects the amount of micronutrients that you have. That is something I really encourage every one of you to go get a measurement of. There's no pain, it's fast, it's non-invasive, and it's cheap. So why not do it when the technology is there for you, okay? Now, once you have that, you say, well, how can I improve? I know this is my score. How can I improve? Because I want to improve, right? It's almost like, well, I know I only sleep 5 hours a day. I need more. Then you sleep more. That's how you improve, right? You say, well, I know that my mind is always, even when I'm sleeping, my mind is all confused. I need to do some meditation. Well, then you spend time meditation. That's how you improve, right? So you do things to improve yourself. You know your body is not in good shape, you should exercise. Well, start walking. After a while, you can start running. And that's how you improve. You do things, you take action to make your body healthier so you can live longer, healthier, right? Well, in nutrition, how can you improve? The easiest thing, first of all, is to eat more fruits and vegetables. Obviously. People have been telling you that for as long as you know, right? There's one issue on that. They forgot to tell you it's organic vegetables, fruits and vegetables. Now, I don't know how many of you can access organic fruits and vegetables. Probably if you live in rural areas where where people are growing them organically. Most of us who buy our foods from the supermarket rarely will get organic fruits and vegetables, right? Because it's only that naturally grown organic fruits and vegetables that you will get all the nutrients that's there. Because hundreds of years ago, thousands of years ago, our forefathers were hunters and gatherers, and there was no city to live in. And that's how they lived in nature with organic things. And by the way, the definition of organic is different everywhere you go. Now, some places, when they say, well, my food is grown organically, it means that they had given very healthy food to the chickens, to the pigs, and then they take the manure from the chickens and the pigs, which ate very healthily, and use that as their fertilizer, and then they grow the organic foods. That's what they mean, without any kind of artificial things involved. There's many stages of being organic. Okay, so it's a very deep subject. I won't talk about any further, but organic foods. That's the way to do it. Now, if you just eat more fruits and vegetables, yes, you can. We've done tests at universities, and we've shown that compared to 70 years ago, the fruits and vegetables that we buy in your supermarket today is 8 times less than the same grown 70 years ago. 8 times. So if my grandfather ate a tomato 70 years ago, and I want to get the same nutrients, the same micronutrients, I have to eat 8 tomatoes to grandpa's 1. So if grandpa eats 2 tomatoes, I'm not going to eat 16. Are you? So, you have to understand that where we're getting our foods now is deficient. Okay, and that's why there's so many diseases that we're seeing now in the inner cities that we didn't have before when we were a rural society, an agricultural society, because we're deficient. But I do encourage you to eat more fruits and vegetables anyway. And the other way then is to supplement. Because what has happened is that through genetic modification, to make the fruits and vegetables last longer in the shelf and in transport, we've genetically engineered all the micronutrients out of it. When we do that, the foods don't rot as fast, so they keep longer. That's why we do it on purpose. Yeah. Now, if it's gone, what do? Well, you can only put it back. So when they take it out, they're going to put it somewhere. Well, some of the companies put it into capsules, and they call it a supplement. So remember, it's not a replacement. Micronutrients can never be a replacement, can only be a supplement. You take micronutrients with your full stomach, with food, not on empty stomach, because it was supposed to be with your original food in the first place. So you supplement it back in so that you have a micro and macro together in one picture. Then your body says, hey, that's good. I can now fight disease. When the aircon's broken, my enzymes will fix it. My electrical enzyme will fix it, right? When the drains are clogged, my plumber enzyme will unclog the drain and clean it out. So your body will repair itself, right? So that is the simple picture I hope I can share with you today of how nutrition works in your body. I know it sounds simple, but I think that's all we really need to know, isn't it? Because most people who are watching this, and the most people that want to tell the story to, they don't need to become a doctor. Because if they are a doctor, they already know anyway. They know the in-depth. They know the science, right? So it's for the people who need to understand in a simple term. And I hope I have done that for you in the last, half hour, 20 minutes, and give you an easier understanding. So for good long-term health, I really say, don't forget the rest, right? Remember, physical, mental, spiritual, right? The exercise. I mean, go walk for 45 minutes a day after your meal every day. It doesn't take much, a 45-minute walk. Do something, yeah? And if you can't access the foods that give you nutrition, then you need to supplement. And go get yourself measured. Ask Georgine, she can probably access a biophotonic scanner and measure where you are, gauge yourself. Yeah. And even when you exercise, measure, gauge yourself. How long did it take for you after dinner to walk around the block? And how did you feel after that? Right? You say, well, I feel better now. After 2 months, you say, hey, I can actually walk faster now. Yes, gauge yourself. Because sometimes when we improve, we forget that we're better. Right? In health-wise, sometimes when our health is better, we don't realize it. But when our health is worse, we realize it. So, oh, this hurts. Oh, I'm tired, right? But sometimes when your health improves, you very seldom do you say, oh, I feel great today. Oh, I feel better today. We very seldom do we feel that way or consciously feel that way. Yeah. So that's what I want to share with you today. I don't know if it's what you expected, but I hope it will help you with a better understanding of how macro and micronutrition works in your body. And I do hope you all um, be, take care of your bodies in all those three areas and live long and healthy. Georgine, I'll stop here and hand it over to you.
Thank you.
Doc, Dr. Jean, you're muted. Okay, thank you. Okay. Dr. Jean, we cannot hear you. You need to unmute first. Okay, thank you very much.
Yes, thank you. Okay, so that is you heard from Jason, my mentor. He's in his 60s and he's super fit, and you can see how he's full of energy and passion um, in sharing this topic that is so close to our heart, right? So I thought when I got this invitation, I thought the best thing would be to share this video because he can explain it faster and simpler than I can. And then, yeah, actually, Jason is in his 60s, but he's an endurance horse racer. He actually represents Hong Kong in the World Equestrian Games, and he also plays golf and all that. So uh, that that that's our explanation on health and nutrition, right? And one of the things that he mentioned was to find out your antioxidant score, or he said, "Do you want to know your health number?" And if you do, we can arrange with Dr. Ray from Mista how you can have a free scan for those that are attending this seminar today, right? Because you have your, I heard earlier from Doc Angie that you're getting certificates of attendance, right? So from there, those of you who attended, you can avail of a free antioxidant scan, right? It's non-invasive and it will tell you how healthy you are, how much antioxidants you have in your body, right? And it's a measure, an indication of your last 3 months. So it's not just like the blood test, which is your fasting, or the last day or the last 12 hours. So this is a really good indication, right? So all of us know that we need to sleep, we need to eat more fruits and vegetables. And yeah, we always forget, yeah, Jason pointed out it should be organic. So those who are, maybe living in Baguio or Tagaytay, you can get fresh vegetables, right? And with the pandemic and what went on this year, a lot of people started planting, right? And those who live on landed property or even in condo and flat, they have this indoor gardening, right? So that is um, one of the things. And for those of us who know that we don't have all the micronutrients, right? Because actually on the macronutrition side, we are too we have too much macronutrients. That's why um, a lot of people are actually overweight, right? But what we are lacking in is in the micronutrients. So that's the phytonutrients, the vitamins, and the minerals. So without um, yeah, let's move to questions so we can see what you want to know or what you want to know more about.
Hi.
Angie?
Thank you, Dr. Georgine, and to Mr. Jason for reminding us. People needs to be reminded, including me, no, that we need to take care of our health, looking at the three. So it was mentioned about rest, not only having enough sleep, but actually it includes also spiritual side, right? Having exercise, and then the nutrition. Okay. Dr. Jean, sometimes it's a challenge for people to be able to have all the three. Hope you won't mind if we ask. Based on your experience, how do you address and ensure that you look at all the three areas? Maybe you can share to us what is your typical work day?
Oh, for me, actually,
With all of
because
the three.
yes, for me, I actually have three boys. Okay, my eldest is 18, and my younger two are 3.5 and 2.5. Right, so there's a this age gap in between, right? So I actually wake up by 7 o'clock in the morning, sometimes six if my bunso will wake up early, right? And then I send them to school. Actually, they started school in my younger two started school preschool in November. Okay, so we get them ready, go to school, um, and then my work day starts once my boys are in school, right? And then I have an early breakfast. Okay, so I do try to eat a healthy or well balanced diet as much as possible. Okay, but in November, because our helper had to go back to Manila, so we don't have any time to cook now. So basically, me and my husband, we actually tapao or we buy food. So in Singapore, we are lucky enough to have access to um, quite not expensive food that you can buy 24 hours a day. Okay, so we have food, and we eat a balanced diet. So vegetables, this open palm size. Okay, carbo closed like this, and
Wow.
protein actually your fist size. Okay, so all of us have different sizes of our fist, and the bigger your fist is, the more you can eat. Actually, you follow your own. Okay, so lean protein. Okay, meat or non-meat, and even vegetarians can follow this. Okay, so this is a healthy eating plate, right? And after eating the work day, right? And I don't actually have dedicated time to exercise normally, but in the day, because I send my kids to school in the morning and back, and we take the bus and then we walk and we push them, and sometimes run a little bit. We have this Fitbit in Singapore. All of us are issued, and we can claim it. So every day I do at least 10,000 steps, okay, in the course of my normal day. And if like during the circuit breaker, we call it like the lockdown period, we actually um, what we actually did was an indoor workout, right? So I think I've shared with Dr. Ray as well, like 7-minute workout or 10-minute workout. And all these are available free and online. And I'm happy to share the links with you. Yeah, and it's low impact. So it's easy for all of us to do. And low impact, but it's cardio. It's good for cardio. Okay. So where else that? Okay, then of course lunch, meetings. Okay, so now that in Singapore it's quite opened up now, I've been attending meetings outside, and with that also I get in more steps for the day, right? And then a lot of our meetings, of course, are also virtual, right? And then in between the meetings, we do have to be drinking a lot of water. So you can see this is a 700 ml water. That's another tip, that we should drink at least 8 glasses a day. And actually, there's a formula for how much, the heavier you are, the more water you need to drink. Okay. So if you're like 60 kg, that's how much you need to drink. If somebody's 80 kg, they need to drink more water. Um, and because water is very important to flush out all the toxins, right, and to help us to detox. Yeah. And what else? Okay, back to the day. So I have to finish all the work before picking up our kids at 5, between 5 to 5:30. Yeah. Then after that, we play with them, get them ready for bed. What else? Okay, so sleep. Okay, so after they're asleep, then we have more work to do, finish more things, because yeah, talking about juggling, right? I'm also in the president of the Royal Institution Singapore, right? And I also am a financial advisor, so I also have that answering and servicing my clients, right? And this global franchise business that we have, where I lead a team in this health and wellness. So fitting all that in the day, and I try to sleep before midnight, right? So if I sleep before midnight and I wake up around 6, 7, then I still have the recommended at least 6.5 to 7 hours of sleep, right? And then exercise whenever I can. Then I try to do more dedicated exercise. Yeah, and the healthy eating is sort of incorporated into our lifestyle. And of course, for me, I do supplement, right? So I take this multivites that has micro, macro, and everything all in, and it's also antioxidant, right? And if I need to boost my score, because I have the machine that Jason shared with us about. So you just place your hand here, and in 2 minutes you can get your um, healthy number or your antioxidant score. Yeah. So we do it with a check in that, and it can go up and down, right? Okay. So I hope that answers the question.
Wow, you really walk the talk, and thank you for all the tips that you have been giving. Where can we avail of that the machine? Yes, the antioxidant machine scanner. Is that available in the Philippines?
Yes, yes, it's available in the Philippines. And I think, sorry, I did not discuss this with Dr. Ray beforehand, but I think he will be able to coordinate, right, Dr. Ray? Yeah. So we
Oh,
will offer this to the attendees today, and we will make it available. And normally there's a minimal charge, but I'm happy to sponsor that.
okay, thank you very much. And Dr. Georgine, you also mentioned that you provide works not only in Singapore but Malaysia also, and here in the Philippines. Now, to organizations regarding health and wellness program, what usually are the programs, okay, that you mentioned to the different organizations to ensure that they have workplace effectiveness when it comes to health and wellness?
Okay, so we do give nutrition talks and health talks, and sometimes specific to what they want. So, for example, it could be about losing weight, right? So this just at 12 o'clock, I had a Facebook Live with my mom actually, right? Because she has a experience of someone who has had diabetes for 20 years, and then after going on our weight management program, she was off insulin, and her medications were cut, including her cholesterol medications, right? So that is one like more specific talk, right? And another thing also that we can do for companies is we can bring this scanner. You see, it's portable. We can bring the scanner together with an iPad. It will give you your score in 1 minute. So you just hold your hand here and a blue light, which is based on a Nobel Prize winning technology, right? So we can actually scan the employees, right? And then it's up to them, of course, if they want to make any changes to their lifestyle, right? So as Jason shared earlier, the fruits and vegetables that we need to take, because the quality or how much nutrients there are in it has gone down so much, right? Like one tomato before, he said, now I have to eat 8 tomatoes. So yeah, well, we can only do what we can to improve the situation, and then those who want to can supplement, right? um, yeah, those are the programs that we have. Also for the weight, so we have an Omron machine which can tell you your body composition. That's how much fat there is, how much muscle there is internally, and how much visceral fat there is. That's the fat in between the organs, and this visceral fat is the one that causes things like high blood, high cholesterol, high sugar, and these are the things that you know we want to prevent, right? And also, um, the leading cause of cancer was smoking, right? And the second leading cause of cancer is obesity, right? So actually, it's a real public health concern, and in our societies, both in Singapore and the Philippines, people really enjoy food. So we eat a lot, and we have so much good food. And, especially in the holiday seasons, we can't, we're tempted by so many things, and we eat some things that are not so good for us, right? Yeah, but that's what we just always need to balance it. So one thing is that you can never exercise more than what you've eaten. So, like uh, one of our ministers here always jokes because he likes donuts. So this Singapore minister, he says like, okay, he started this hashtag where he was saying that donut time, and then people started sending him donuts, and then he started getting challenged by our health promotion board. So he started doing push-ups and all these things, and he put the hashtag like donut challenge. So now to burn off one donut, he has to do how many sit-ups? Yeah.
Thank you, Georgine. And actually, there's a question here regarding when you look at other countries, like for example, Singapore, Malaysia, and even Vietnam, the people there, they're very fit and very slim. Actually, I'm amazed on how they do it. So you have experience also living here in the Philippines. So how would you compare the lifestyle of people here in the Philippines, the Filipinos versus Singaporean, Malaysians, and even Vietnamese?
Actually, we have a lot in common, and we're all Asia, Southeast Asia, right? But the thing is, also food is something that is really I'll just say important, and people like to get together and bond over food. So there's that in common. Actually, another thing is like the lifestyle. People really sleep late, and don't really prioritize exercise. So that's why the rate of diseases and all that is much higher now. Earlier, let's say when I was in Philippines in the early 2000s doing my masters, um, I thought that Filipinos had a more healthy, more unhealthy lifestyle compared to Singaporeans. But now it's about almost the same, because also the scanner that I mentioned, the score, before, most Filipinos that I scanned were all in the red zone. Okay, so red zone is meaning is for usually for smokers, or people with quite unhealthy lifestyle and don't eat fruits and vegetables. Oh, but that's one thing. I think more Filipinos don't eat enough fruits and vegetables, right? And I think Singaporeans are more, we're more easily programmable. So we've been subjected to health promotion board telling us 3 to 5, now 5 to 9 servings. So we're more obedient. Like we have this tracker, and then we try to walk 10,000 steps. Because Singapore is famous for having all these programs, right? Like health, clean Singapore. Now healthy lifestyle is really being pushed out, because the Singapore government realized that prevention is much easier and better. And they even incentivize you with cash. There's prizes in this walk 10,000 steps. And then they have a program every year, the National Health Steps Challenge, right? And you can even win like a free flight to places, and they give you vouchers. And I mean, every Singaporean can get this watch free. So they're doing all these things because they really recognize this as a number one public health concern. And the incidence of diabetes in Singapore is one of the highest. I think even we're number one. So this is one of the number ones that we don't want to have. We want to be number one in everything else, but not this. Okay. And then back to the difference in the lifestyle, I think, yeah, really Filipinos need to eat more vegetables. Like if we look at the dishes like adobo, um, sinigang, kare-kare, there's not much
You know
vegetable.
all of those food.
My favorite vegetable is peanut, right? Yeah, so we really need more leafy vegetables, right? And if we remember, like what Jason shared about 1 tomato and 8 tomatoes, the amount that we need to eat is a lot, right? So it should be this much, not the whole family sharing one plate of vegetables, but each of us should have this portion per meal, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And skipping breakfast, which is another common lifestyle thing, I think both in Singapore. Oh, no. One thing, notable difference, I think, is Filipinos like to eat a lot of rice, right?
Okay.
So even for breakfast, you like to have fried rice. And yeah, that's one thing which, if we can cut down the rice, or, I have friends that said, okay, I won't eat rice anymore, but I'll eat noodles and bread, which is actually worse. Okay, so all these are all carbs, which is in the same category. And we can eat rice. We don't need to cut it out, but the portion, so it should be less than half a bowl or 1/3. So slowly cut down to 1/3. And if you eat more protein and more vegetable, you will not be hungry. You know, you will not go hungry. And yeah, we shouldn't skip meals. We should just try to eat the portions accordingly.
Okay, so that's a good reminder again. Never skip meals. Okay, Dr. Georgette, the one that really struck me, you mentioned that you're able to get the free tractor or the fit band that you mentioned, and it's given by your government for free. Can you elaborate more on the different programs offered to you by the government? Okay, which can actually be a good approach and be a practice that can also be emulated by other countries, just like the Philippines. Okay.
Okay, one of the things, we have, okay, like during this pandemic, we have free mask. So this mask, this is the government issued mask with different colors, but they issued them, I think, three batches. So early on, we just received the third batch. The third batch was black, and this is given free, two per person, as long as you have an ID, a Singapore registered ID. And you know where we get these? In a vending machine. So they installed vending machines around the country, and in the place that we're staying now, we have two downstairs. So two vending machines. You just scan your IC card, or you can key in your IC manually, and then you get your mask. So this one initiative. Earlier, the one I mentioned, the National Steps Challenge. So I think this is the 10th year or 5th year, because I remember it. It's an anniversary year. So they've really been promoting 10,000 steps a day. And also, one thing I noticed in the hospital is they try to encourage people to take the lift, not take the lift, take the stairs. If it's less than a certain number of floors, take the stairs. All right. So by taking the stairs, you're incorporating more steps into your day, right? And climbing stairs is also different from just walking flat. Yeah. What's the other? Yeah, health promotion for the healthy plate. So of course, we have our Ministry of Health that's on the ministerial level. We also have Health Promotion Board that is very active, and we have screening. Okay, so actually, another thing which I noticed this year, I'm not sure when it started, but even in our MRT, the train, there are ads for screening. So over the age of 40, there's certain screening, or you pay a really subsidized, like $5 Singapore, and you can have free screening. We also have free mammogram, you know. Yes,
Okay.
of course, you can pay and do it in a private hospital, but the government is taking this initiative to offer free screening so that every Singaporean can avail of it, right? When it comes to the mask, it's not just Singaporeans who can have it, it is Singapore residents. So all long-term residents, foreign workers, everybody living here, because yeah, it's no point that the citizens um, are healthy or prevented, but then the foreign workers can, we are all in this together, right? So yeah, and now, okay, sidetrack with the pandemic, because even if Singapore is can control our numbers, right, and we're tracking and tracing, right, and the other thing, they're giving out the token so that we can have this um the tracing is on a different level, right? So with that, um because this is a borderless world and we're all connected, for Singapore had to close the borders for a while, and that really affected our economy. So this is the token that they're giving out, Oh, and then one more thing about the pandemic, we're going to have a free vaccination. Yeah, vaccine. Yeah, Singapore has certain compulsory vaccinations, which is given to all Singaporeans when you're born, and then some are voluntary. And so far, what we've heard, because this was just announced a few days ago, we will all have vaccines, but this is on a voluntary basis. Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much, Georgine. And there's a question here from the audience. How does the food we eat affect our productivity? Maybe you can elaborate more on that based on your experience.
Oh, yes. Okay, so after, if you have a heavy meal, right, especially like in the work day, right? So if we have a heavy lunch, then yeah, we'll be sleepy after that. And it also, um, our insulin levels, because they spiked, right? So if you want to avoid having those, yeah, we should eat the 3 meals a day. So we should have breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And the breakfast we should have earlier, right? So a lot of people, because they skip breakfast, and then for lunch they eat too much. Then after lunch, right? So if we space out our meals and have breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and the breakfast also to have protein. One thing is that a lot of breakfast that maybe you might eat could be maybe just high sugar and just like bread or cereal
Coffee.
or the cereal or just coffee. Coffee doesn't count now because it doesn't have any protein and nutrients, right? So you need to have a nutritious breakfast. So at least like have two eggs, you know, or like tofu is a good protein, right? Something simple that you can prepare. And if not, then uh, I know some people like to have shakes, so protein shake or like a fruit shake, you know, but not so high in sugar. Yeah, so you can check fruits that are low in GI, low GI, right? To not spike the sugar, right? We should have space out the meals, and then if you're hungry, even in between, you can have a snack, right? So the snack in the middle between breakfast and lunch, and okay, for the snack you can just have like an apple, right? So again, you're getting your serving of fruit, and it's something healthy, and it'll keep you full in between if you're hungry, right? Then water and fiber, right? So these are the things. Of course, to avoid food that's too high in sugar because you will get energy and then it'll come down, right? And of course, the easy step, okay, to me, I think it's easiest to like cut out soft drinks, cut out sugar drinks because all these are empty calories. They don't make you full. They're bad for you, and they will contribute to you storing fat. So I hope that answers the question on what we can eat. Of course, yeah, if we eat more protein, yeah, less
Okay.
carb.
Thank you, Doc Georgine. And you know how time flies. It's past two already. So again, Dr. Jean and Mr. Jason, we like really to thank you for the friendly reminders on how we should really take care of our health, particularly during this time of pandemic crisis. No, so guys, let's all ensure that we have enough rest. Let's do the exercise and balanced diet. That's the nutrition. Okay. So please don't forget to accomplish the evaluation sheet. Okay. And we will be giving you the certificate of attendance in return. So at this point, we would now like to give the certificate of appreciation to Dr. Athena Georgine Ang Kabakang and Mr. Jason Che. Thank you very much, Dr. Georgine and Mr. Jason, for your time and sharing your experience on how to live a healthy life. Okay. So a round of applause to our guest speaker. So, Georgian, thank you very much again. And to your mentor, Mr. Jason. Okay.
Thank you so much. And can I wish everyone Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, and stay safe and healthy.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. And to all, so let us continue to stay safe and healthy. Merry Christmas and see you in the next activities of the Philippine Society for Quality. Always stay safe and healthy. Good day. Thank you. Thank you, Georgian.